Good evening, Night Dwellers. Welcome back to Night Story HQ, where the shadows speak and the darkness listens. If you're a fan of eerie legends, spine-chilling tales, and the kind of fear that crawls under your skin, you've found your home. Tonight we plunge deep into the wilderness to resurrect a terrifying urban legend whispered around campfires for decades. The Hookman. So light your lantern, stay close, and whatever you do, don't wander off alone. They called it Raven Pines, an old campground buried deep within the forested hills of Washington state. Local kids swore it was haunted, and old-timers muttered warnings no one really believed. But for a group of 5 high school seniors from Seattle, Raven Pines was just the perfect place to escape the city, drink cheap beer, and spend one last night of freedom before graduation. There was Mia, the de facto leader of the group, confident, smart, with a sharp tongue and even sharper instincts. Her boyfriend, Caleb, was tall, athletic, and as laid back as they came. Then there were Zoe and Marcus, best friends since middle school, bonded by a love of horror films and sarcasm. And finally, Liam, the quiet one, always sketching in his notebook, always observing more than he said. They arrived just before sunset. The forest was dense, the trees tall and motionless. A dusty path led to the clearing where an old fire pit waited beneath a canopy of skeletal branches. They set up their tents, cracked open drinks, and began sharing ghost stories. That's when Mia brought up the Hookman. "You've never heard it?" she asked, shocked, looking at Zoe and Marcus. "It's like the most classic urban legend ever." Yeah, Caleb smirked. "Guy with a hook for a hand, kills teenagers who get frisky in parked cars. Total 1950s paranoia tale." But Mia shook her head. "Not the version I heard. This one's darker." Zoe leaned forward, eyes gleaming. "Go on." Mia's voice lowered. "They say he was an escaped patient from an asylum about 50 miles from here. Lost his hand in some kind of accident. No one knows how. They gave him a prosthetic hook, but he kept sharpening it, making it sharper and sharper, until it wasn't a hand anymore. It was a weapon." The wind rustled the trees. Somewhere in the distance, a twig cracked. Mia continued. "They say he killed the guards and escaped during a storm. The last place he was seen was Raven Pines." Silence. Then Marcus laughed, breaking the tension. "So he's like a killer pirate roaming the woods?" Liam didn't laugh. He was staring into the trees. That night, as the fire died and the group turned in, an unsettling stillness settled over the forest. No owls, no insects, just the occasional whisper of wind through the branches. Around 2 a.m., Caleb woke up. He wasn't sure why. The air in the tent felt colder. Too cold. Mia was asleep beside him, curled in her sleeping bag. Then he heard it. Scrape. A slow, metallic sound, like something sharp dragging across a hard surface. He held his breath. Scrape. It was outside the tent. He unzipped the flap just an inch and peeked out. Nothing. The dying embers of the fire cast long shadows, but there was no one there. Suddenly, clang. Something struck the metal pole beside the fire pit. Caleb leapt out, flashlight in hand, heart hammering. But the beam revealed only the trees, and a deep gouge in the fire pit pole, like something sharp had raked across it. He didn't sleep the rest of the night. By morning, Caleb was exhausted. He told the others what he'd heard, what he'd seen. Mia looked concerned. Marcus rolled his eyes. "Bro, you're just freaking yourself out after that story. You probably dreamt it." But Liam stepped forward and pointed at the pole. "That wasn't there yesterday." They all looked. The mark was real, deep and ragged. "I say we bounce," Caleb said. "It's not worth it." But Zoe insisted they stay. Come on, it's our last chance to be together before college. We're just scaring ourselves. Reluctantly, they agreed to stay another night. That afternoon, the group hiked to a nearby creek, but Liam stayed behind, saying he wanted to finish a sketch. As he sat by the fire pit, pencil dancing over paper, he noticed something glinting in the dirt, a rusted piece of metal, curved, dull at the base, but wickedly sharp at the tip. He picked it up. It was half of a broken hook. Liam's breath caught in his throat. By nightfall, tension gripped the camp. No one could deny that something was off. The forest felt heavier, oppressive. They built the fire high. Caleb kept a hatchet by his side. Marcus kept making jokes, trying to dispel the fear, but his voice wavered. Around midnight, Mia got up to use the bathroom, just behind the trees. She was gone 5 minutes. 10. 15. Too long, Caleb muttered. I'm going. He found her standing frozen, eyes wide, facing the trees. Mia? She turned slowly. Her face was pale. Someone's watching us. They rushed back to the fire. We need to leave, Mia said firmly, but it was already too late. That's when they heard it. Scrape. Long, slow, closer. Then a shadow stepped just beyond the edge of the firelight. Tall, gaunt, a figure in tattered clothing, with one arm ending in a long, rusted hook that caught the firelight with a wicked gleam. The Hookman. Screams shattered the silence. Run! Mia shouted. The teens bolted in different directions, crashing through the woods. Branches tore at their skin. Behind them came the relentless scrape. 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 Zoe and Marcus ran together, but Marcus tripped, falling hard. Zoe turned back, but the Hookman was already there. A single, awful scream. Then silence. Zoe ran blindly into the forest. Caleb and Mia stuck together, hearts pounding. They stumbled into an old ranger station, long abandoned. Inside was dust, old maps, and a boarded-up window. We can hide here, Caleb gasped. But Mia shook her head. No, we fight. She grabbed a rusted fire axe from the wall. Caleb gripped the hatchet. Outside, footsteps. Then, bang! The door flew open. The Hookman stepped inside. The fight was brutal. Caleb managed to land a blow, but the Hookman was relentless. His hook slashed across Caleb's chest, sending him sprawling. Mia screamed, swung the axe, and buried it into the Hookman's shoulder. He staggered back, growled. Then Liam appeared out of nowhere, holding a flare gun. With shaking hands, he fired. The flare struck the Hookman square in the chest. He erupted in flame, screeching, clawing at the air, before collapsing to the ground, consumed by fire. By dawn, the 3 survivors emerged from the forest, bruised, bloodied, broken. No one believed their story. The authorities found nothing but an empty campsite and some burned wood at the ranger station. No body, no hook, just a deep scratch carved into the side of the fire pit, like a signature left behind. So, was it just an urban legend? A cautionary tale taken too far? Or did something truly walk those woods? Something with a hook instead of a hand and a hatred for the young and reckless? The story of the Hookman has evolved over decades, changing shape with each retelling. Some say it's a symbol of guilt, of suppressed fears about adolescence, sex, and consequences. Others believe he's real, a remnant of some dark, forgotten crime, cursed to haunt the wilderness. What makes legends like Hookman so enduring is not just the fear of the killer himself, but the fear that he could be anywhere. That beneath the laughter and campfire tales, something might be watching, waiting, listening. Thank you for joining us tonight on Night Story HQ. If your heart's still racing and your eyes are still darting toward dark corners, then we've done our job. Remember, every legend starts with a story. And sometimes, stories are warnings. Before you go, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next descent into darkness. Leave a comment below. Have you ever heard the tale of the Hookman? Or better yet, have you seen the scratches for yourself? Until next time, stay curious, stay cautious, and whatever you do, don't ignore the sound of a hook scraping through the silence. Good night, and beware the hook.